Michael Snyder's standing by. You know, we are penned in and watching more and more in the way of streaming stuff. Yeah. And Michael does see everything. In fact, it astounds me. Michael is one of those guys who goes to art exhibits, and then he goes to some underground music scene, and then he watches all the movies, and I'm just amazed. I'm so glad that he's a part of our scene, and he's very much a part of the San Francisco scene. You can find him at Royal Grounds there on Polk Street, where he kind of sets up an office there and has been doing that for decades now. But first, welcome Michael Snyder. Yeah.
Michael.
Hey, Mark. You know, the Royal Ground is off limits right now, but I want to tell you, I just finished off my upcoming topical book, Broccoli, the Secret Killer, and I hope you're ready to promote that on the air, because honestly,
we really did. We did a deep dive on the broccoli issue. I thought today.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, God, I polish every flower before I eat it. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Hey, so a bunch of movies that have been theatrically released are being dropped on video today. I'll just rattle them off and suggest one or two that I really, really liked. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Only good to watch at home on video, if that, for Margot Robbie's over-the-top performance. Doolittle with Robert Downey Jr., maybe for kids, this latest version of the Dr. Doolittle story. It's pretty lame. The Gentleman, a terrific crime comedy from Guy Ritchie with a great performance by Hugh Grant and a lead performance of the usual all right charm from Matthew McConaughey. Bloodshot, the new superhero franchise, or would-be one, with Vin Diesel, is a lot of bang fun, like a John Wick movie. The Way Back, a serious drama with Ben Affleck exercising those dramatic chops as a basketball coach with an addiction problem. And one of the best films of last year, Clemency. Alfre Woodard is a warden who has to oversee capital punishment circumstances and begins to have a crisis of conscience. And by the way, Disney/Fox just dropped The Call of the Wild, kind of okay update of the famous Jack London story with Harrison Ford in the lead, and Downhill, a kind of tepid comedy that should have been much better, starring Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Quickly, two movies are coming out today via video starring Jesse Eisenberg of Zombieland, The Social Network fame. He always plays kind of a creepy nerd, or often does. And in this case, one of the films is called Vivarium, and I haven't watched it deliberately because it's a thriller about being trapped in a sinister housing development. That's a little too close to home, right? Oh, my God. But I want to briefly recommend the other movie starring Eisenberg, Resistance, which is not an Oscar winner, but is a dramatization of a true story centering on one of the most famous performing artists of the 20th century, Marcel Marceau. And it turns out that Marceau, the world-renowned mime, was originally Marcel Mangel, a young Jewish actor who became part of the French resistance during the Second World War and eventually would save scores of Jewish children who were orphaned by the Nazis. And Marcel is played by Eisenberg. He does a good job with the dramatics, but I'll be honest with you. You know, I've seen Marcel Marceau, and Jesse, you're no Marcel Marceau. The mime sequences are not great. The acting stuff's good. Clemence Posey is the woman who plays opposite him. Ed Harris is here briefly as George Patton, the American general. It's flawed, but it's worth checking out. It has.
Let me ask you something that you mentioned. Marcel Marceau. Marcel Marceau was this like if there was a Mount Rushmore of what are they called again? The people who don't say anything. Pantomimes. Right. If there was a Mount Rushmore of pantomime artists, Marcel Marceau would be prominently displayed.
He'd be the only one up there, and he was a very quiet monument, actually.
That was a thing, though, right? Pantomime was a thing. I mean, he was a big star, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been around
It's
forever,
hard to believe,
I think.
but I'm just saying it's hard to believe that it was as big as it was.
Well, you know, if you need to see someone walking against the wind or trying to get out of a box, a mime is the perfect person to see. Okay,
I don't mean to put it down. It's just wild that it had that place in the culture. Anyway, go ahead. All right.
Quickly, the other movie I can really recommend wholeheartedly for the family, it's called Banana Split, and it's funny, fun, sweet, and it's an up-to-date get ready, teen comedy set in Los Angeles, mostly during that summer between senior year in high school and freshman year in college. But it's not raunchy in the least, despite the characters have a lot of frank speech and there's legitimate fooling around. But, these movies are oftentimes raunchy. But no, despite what you'd expect from this thing, it feels fresh. And rather than like typical losing virginity plot, it's most concerned with the platonic friendship that organically develops between two girls, April and Clara. And the twist is that Clara, who's a newcomer to town, is dating April's high school sweetheart, Nick. And by the way, Clara is also the cousin of Nick's best buddy, who gets caught up in keeping the girl's friendship a secret from the guy. And the dialogue rings true, and it's delivered with a natural ease that gives just a real kind of warmth and truth to the whole thing. And the four young actors in the main roles are uniformly great. I want to single out Hannah Marks, the girl who plays April. She actually co-wrote the script, and she's been working as an actress since, childhood. And she's written and directed at least one indie feature. I never saw that, but this script is sharp and charming and something that's ideal, again, for family viewing on the weekend if you can get
Wow.
Banana Split.
Listen to that, Brett.
Wow.
Michael really loves this Banana Split movie, so where can we see it?
It's VOD, video on demand, if you have that kind of system at your home. And most people do have that or cable or something similar. So seek out, see what your carrier can do for you regarding Banana Split. Again, This is not an Oscar winner, but we need something to get our minds off the baloney right now.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun family. I mean, as long as the family's mature enough to handle the frank speak, as you say.
There's the F word and various other familiar words are dropped with a liberal frequency amongst the kids, and it's still pretty wonderful.
Okay, that's wild. What was the Alfred Woodard movie that you mentioned? You went through the list so quickly. I was trying to get everything down.
Clemency, which is really it's not a pretty story. It's a heavy drama. So wait till the kids are in bed. But it's the performance on Woodard's part is wonderful, and the story is it's resonant and topical. Capital punishment is still a major issue in this country, despite the fact that we're all thinking about something else right now.
Yeah, let me just before we lose you, I wanted to mention that Brett, who, as you know, has tastes that diverge from yours from time to time. You differed on Judy, or what was it called, Garland, or what was the name?
It was called Judy, just plain Judy, I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't it called Judy? Judy, not to be confused with
Brett loved it.
Cary Grant.
Brett really loved it, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay, but you did not. I remember that.
She acts her ass off, Renee Zellweger, but I've never thought her as Judy Garland, really.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought she did a good job.
Yeah.
But I'm finding more and more, Michael, that every time you recommend a movie, I don't like it. And when you don't like a movie, I end up liking it. Like the latest one is.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Invisible Man. Boy, I loved that movie. I mean,
no, I liked it too. You're not paying attention to the reviews. I thought for what it is, it was very, very good. You're not hearing me. You're hearing, I say, hey, Brett, you should see this, and you're hearing like Charlie Brown.
I guess so.
Yeah, come on.
Here's the thing about The Invisible Man, and this is not a spoiler alert, but there were things that were featured in the trailer that made me think before watching this movie that it was a dead giveaway. You know what's going to happen. But the things that were featured in the trailer are not featured in the film. And I almost feel like they did that on purpose to lead you down a path of the unexpected. So that made it more suspenseful. It was really interesting.
Oh.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it because I gave it a positive review. So
okay. So you didn't. You actually agreed with Michael on that. Oh yeah,
I thought you said the title gives away the plot, but I didn't feel
that was a joke. The Invisible Man.
Okay.
The Invisible Man.
He said. I remember he said a bunch of things happen, and one can't ascribe them necessarily to what supernatural or what might have happened. And I think I said, well, it's called The Invisible Man. We kind of know why things are moving around.
Right. I misheard you.
Michael, go wash your hands. Thank you for being with us. We love visiting with you, and we look forward to next week.
Love you, man.
You bet.
Michael Snyder, everybody. When we come back, we'll check in with Pat Thurston. What a show she has.
Oh, no
We
kidding.
might actually even let her speak next on KGO.